What is up, everyone, and welcome back to our Slab Stocks Sundays episode. My name is Aaron, joined by Nate here on the Slab Stocks YouTube channel as we look at the PWCC Weekly Auction number 76. And we have got a special guest joining tonight's show, and we'll introduce him here quite soon, but it's going to be Adam from Bill Graphs. Many of you might know him from going to different card shows or seeing him on Instagram. And we'll be talking to him today about card shows around the country, shows he goes to, different things he looks for at shows, and fun things like that. And also some of the cards that he's looking at tonight on the PWCC Weekly Auction number 76. Before getting into the stream today, we had some shows ourselves this weekend. We were in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, and then we were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, American Family Field. Nate, overall impressions?
Absolutely shocked by the amount of people that showed up to the Miller Park show. I just assumed that, it hadn't been done before, and it might be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get to Miller Park to go to it. It's not like it's not the most simple thing to get to. And then 12 o'clock rolled around, and by 12:03, the place was packed.
It was definitely packed. It was packed. It was super fun. And got some cool deals done. So y'all will be able to see that in our upcoming Coast to Coast Cards video coming out this week. And I got to say what's up to Hector and Real Music and Wesley and Pat B. I've already joined the stream tonight. Other than talking to Adam, we'll be looking at some different cards ending tonight in some of our favorite section. As I favored, I think, 129 cards now as of tonight. Of course, talking about Shohei Ohtani and what he's doing on the diamond. But now I think is a time that I'll be bringing in Adam from Bill Graphs. So, Adam, how are you doing?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Very, very good. Where are you right now?
Right now, I am in Seattle, Washington.
What were you doing in Seattle, Washington?
I went to a card show at a mall.
So no shock at all. I put on the thumbnail, the card show guru, and that's me calling the card show guru because this guy's at all the shows, man. I see him Midwest Monster in Denver, in Dallas, and we'll talk about them as they come up. But overall impressions on your show this weekend in Seattle?
That could not have been a big show.
No, it was so I came here with my buddy, and we Ubered to the show yesterday, and I said in the Uber, I was like, man, this is either going to be really good or really bad. And I was like, there's going to be no in between, like none. And it was actually right in between. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't amazing. I mean, I will tell you, we bought a 86 Jordan in the middle of a mall. It was kind of nuts. Yeah, I mean, so yesterday there were, a bunch of dealers. It wasn't even 100 tables, but it didn't feel like, it felt like there was a lot to choose from. But today, I guess it was different vendors, which was very different. I've never seen a show that's 2 days have separate vendors for both days. So we showed up today, and I only stayed for 2 hours. I was like, yeah, I'm over this. I just went back to the hotel. But yeah, it was good. At the end of the day, I got to come to Seattle, and it's cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
And I actually want to show you guys something for the people that are watching this. The other night in my hotel, I was doing this on my phone. I don't know if you can see. I have now been to 20 states because of sports cards.
That's awesome.
Which is just crazy to think about. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Almost half the country.
That's super cool, man. Congrats on that. And
Thank you.
Glad you had a good show in Seattle. So before jumping into
and Aaron, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was listening in the I guess it's backstage is what this thing calls it.
Yeah.
I'm really upset I wasn't able to go to the American Family Field show today. Looked really cool, and I actually bought a card that you sold to one of my wholesale buyers.
Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Why do you like Trayvon Walker?
Dude, I think he's really good. I think he's so cheap, and I don't know. I've never had a football player that I collect, so I was just like, why not just collect Trayvon Walker?
Didn't you get the shield the other day?
Yeah, I got the Immaculate Shield auto.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. Very cool.
And I just picked up the Pop One Prism Gold PSA 10.
Jeez, man's going in.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
He is not joking around about that.
Yeah, no, I think he's really good, and I think the Jaguars are are gonna actually like go far this year. I'm not saying I think they're gonna win it all, but I think they're gonna, it's kind of like baseball. You want your teams to like make a push, but even if they're not gonna win it all, like you just want them to make a push to they get enough hype to where like every player on their team sells.
Yeah, that's
So,
how I
like,
felt about the Brewers in our good days.
Yeah. No, I really wish that, and the people at the Milwaukee Card Show, they're really good people. They reached out to me and asked if I was going to come up from Chicago. I said that I already had this. I actually booked this event, and then the next day I found out about the Milwaukee show. So, had I not, I wouldn't have. I would have been in Milwaukee with you guys today. But it was a fun time here, and there'll be other shows.
Yeah, the show was a success, and I hope that they do it again sometime. So before jumping into the next question, I do want to pull up one of the items that you're like, yo, Aaron, this thing is pretty cool to me, and I want to pull up that Mike Trout. It's the PMG, so 2013 Fleer Retro, but on the back it says Industry Summit. So tell me about this card.
So this is a card that from the Beckett Industry Summit. And I don't think people So first of all, it's not licensed. I mean, let's get that out of the way. It's not licensed, but it is a PMG, precious metal gems. For those who don't know, those are incredibly condition sensitive. And to get a PSA 10 on that, it says it's a population of 6. I think they're lying. I think that's the only one. But to get a card like that in such a high grade is just borderline impossible. And I mean, it's $3,700, but I mean, I think that's really cheap. That's his only PMG. I just think that's a card that, like, I don't know if it's an investor card. It's more of a collector card, but that's a card that, like, if I had that kind of money to just blow on a card right now, like I would buy that.
Do you think that's like a airbrushed USA baseball jersey?
Yeah, I think so. Because he's wearing number 23.
Yeah. Which obviously is not 27.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, this one is at 3,700 right now. It is closing tonight. Actually, just got a bid as we started to talk about it. So if anyone in the extended bidding wants to check it out, of course, there's other Trout cards ending tonight as well.
Oh, are we in extended bidding on East Coast time?
In 6 minutes, it will start. Extended bidding will start.
Can you check what the Justin Fields is at? Because that one actually really interested me.
Yeah. We'll pop over there right now.
So I made my selection. Okay, so it's gotten significant traction on the cards.
Yeah, what was it at when you said that you wanted to talk about this?
It was less than $550 when I was looking at it 2 days ago.
$550?
Yeah, which is just nuts.
It's like over $3,000 now.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that's cheap.
So, are you a big Fields fan? I mean, I know you're in the Chicago area.
I'm not a Bears fan. I'm not a Bears fan at all. I wouldn't even say I'm a Justin Fields fan, but I know a lot of people who just do Justin Fields. Like, they buy cards for their collection, but the only player they buy and sell is Justin Fields. So I've kept a very close eye on his market, and I think he's a player that a lot of people are buying with the National being in Chicago this year. Kind of like with Jalen Hurts last year. I mean, the National wasn't in Philadelphia; it was in Atlantic City, but
close enough.
With the National being in Chicago, I think everyone's going to be buying Justin Fields, whether it's Donruss paper bases or cards like this. I think everyone's going to be buying Justin Fields.
Yeah, so let's take this topic and let's segue into one of the questions on my list, and we'll jump a couple down. But it's about the National specifically, and I'll bridge away from my question that I was going to pose and say, at the National for the last, you've probably attended how many years straight now, or how many years have you? This will be
my third National.
Third National?
Yeah.
So third National, last two. Did you feel like that there was like an overarching, like, a lot of people are going for this at the show, or a lot of people are, like you said, like, a lot of people are chasing Fields at the show, and I agree with you. I think that Fields will be hot at the show. I don't agree with it as a Packers fan, but
so it's funny. I hope he's watching right now, because I always bring up this thing that he told me one time, and it stuck with me. He told me, he said, when the hobby zigs, you got to zag. And what he meant by that in our conversation was, when everyone's going to this city to buy cards, you have to get on a plane and go to Seattle to go to a mall to buy cards. Like, It's just like when everyone's doing something one way, you have to, do it the other way. And I tell people, I'm like, don't buy football at the National. Like sell football at the National, but don't buy it. Like if you're buying football at the National, don't leave the National with it.
You're either buying that to sell it at the show or within like 2 weeks after the show.
I think the National is the best place to buy modern basketball.
You do.
And baseball, because what you got to think is what a lot of people don't realize and a lot of the hobby. Oh, I'm glad Nate's back. A lot of the hobby doesn't realize that the National is during the MLB trade deadline. And that's when a lot of teams really start to position their teams to be put into good playoff contention. And a lot of the hobby, it's really sad, but I know Nate's not one of them and I'm not one of them, but a lot of the hobby doesn't care about baseball, like the people who buy to flip and stuff like that. So I think the National is the perfect time to buy baseball and basketball, because you have all these dealers who are going to be high on their football and not wanting to give you any deals on football. But then you ask them about a LaMelo Ball and they're like, oh yeah, I'll get rid of that. They're not playing for a month after football, which is like no time at all.
Yeah, that is true. And, interesting thing about it, I do agree with you. Like National always feels like that football is kind of like overall at its peak. Obviously, you have some players that, like, if you bought Jalen Hurts in the National, you still would have been doing well throughout the season, right? A great season. But overall, I agree with you on that.
I saw something on Twitter recently where someone said that. Do you remember you were at the last National in Rosemont, right?
Yeah,
I think that was actually the year that I met you guys.
2021.
Yeah, during the first Kesem charity.
Yeah.
So I saw. Do you remember the day before the National when the Mahomes NT Shield sold for like $4 million or whatever it was?
I do remember that. I remember
so the person who bought that card took a massive loss on it. And is that mine? Is that mine making that noise?
I don't think so.
Okay. The person who bought that card took a huge loss on it, and like it just goes to show to like not buy players like when they're at their like, when a player's hot, sell them, don't buy them.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that quite a bit.
I get DMs all day long from people selling me cards. If they try to sell me an Ellie De La Cruz, like I'm not buying it. Like I'm not buying that. You'd have to give me a killer deal to like buy that right now.
I actually had someone at the show this weekend. I was at their booth and they're really nice and like asked, "Oh, are you interested in this card? This card?" Trying to talk to me about the cards he had, right? And I saw Jordan Love cards interesting. He's like, "Oh, like what about Ellie De La Cruz?" And I was like, "I just can't buy Ellie right now. Like I can't do it." And like I'm gonna pull up it actually in this auction because we're talking about it. But you'll notice there's so many Ellie cards ending tonight. Like normally you do get like a substantial amount of hot players selling in here, but like normally like you don't see a bunch of like specific prospects selling. Like, you'll see like one card of like.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you still hear me? Fine. I just took my AirPods out.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
You're good.
Cool. Yeah, do you ever play around with, and can we talk about card ladder on here? Is that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
So do you ever play around with card ladder and just like click enter in the search bar and just see the most recent cards that sold?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I put it like a one
so you've done it before, right? Like just like so like when I'm doing deals with people on FaceTime, I'll just like click enter on card ladder just to like see, and I'll just like mess with them. I'll be like, hey, what do you think the last card to sell on eBay was? And the other day I clicked it, and it was an Ellie De La Cruz 2022 Bowman Sterling, like, and it was like some numbered refractor, and it sold for $200. Like it's just nuts that like what his stuff is selling for.
Adam, last week there was an SGC 10 2023 Bowman Chrome base. This is like second year prospect. Bowman Chrome base is like $100.
Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Nate, I think I might be getting some feedback from you somehow, some way. But yeah, I mean, they got a BGS 5 in here of the Black Shimmer 1 of 1 from
BGS 5.
This is draft or something like that. I think it's at like $1,700 for a 5.
For a 5.
Yeah, I mean, and then also this is really weird. There's like a few authentic altered like 2022 Topps Pro debut cards in here.
What?
Which is weird. So like this one authentic altered. There's a red auto. authentic altered. Is that super weird?
Did someone just like buy like the rainbow and then like color them in with like Sharpie
I
and
have
then
no idea.
slab them?
I literally have zero idea.
Wait, what's the can you go up? Can you go up one?
Yeah, Adam, I actually might be getting the feedback from you now, just so you know. I don't think that's Nas removed him to test it.
Oh.
It's okay though. It's not too bad.
All right. What is the base, the PSA 8 red paper? What is that?
This is
$11.75. Jesus.
literally for a red paper. I mean,
that's nuts.
At this point, it's a couple $100, right? Like in the past, maybe like $100 or $200.
Yeah.
For paper.
I mean, I'd rather have that than the black shimmer.
Yeah, I mean that at least has the first logo on it.
So would I for sure. And Down on the Farm says Corbin Carroll is going to be insane at the National. He has been crazy this season. Adam, have you been tracking Carroll cards?
It is. I haven't been doing like extensive research, but he could seriously win the NL MVP. It's crazy.
Crazy to say in a rookie season, right?
I know.
What's curious is Aaron at the booth these last 2 days. Obviously, we're in Milwaukee and not anywhere else. But I only had one person come up that I noticed ask for Corbin Carroll this weekend.
Wow.
Would be curious to see how that plays out in Chicago.
So this is crazy. Is there actually not one Corbin Carroll? There's not one Corbin Carroll card selling tonight. There's 26 Ellie De La Cruz.
That's crazy.
That's super crazy.
Did you see that Ellie De La Cruz has been selected to the All-Star game after playing 23 games in the major leagues?
Do you say Wander Franco isn't in the All-Star game?
Yeah, that's nuts. But Ellie De La Cruz, 23 games in the MLB, and he's an All-Star.
That makes no sense, like at all.
To put into perspective, I mean, this is a wide comparison. Bert Blyleven, who is in any baseball fan's mind a guaranteed Hall of Famer, was an All-Star twice in his career. And Ellie De La Cruz has played 23 games, and he's an All-Star half the amount of times as Bert Blyleven.
That's so crazy. I know Bert from announcing the Twins games back when I lived there. He would announce all the Twins games. But yeah, man, that's super nuts.
Hey, that Pete Alonso is pretty cool. I just saw that there.
Yeah, Red Auto PSA 10. I think there's also a PSA 9 of the same card in this auction as well. So if you're a Pete Alonso fan, want a red, it's available in this auction. Jumping to a question here on the list is to you, in your mind, Adam, what are the must-attend card shows in the United States? Like, what ones that you've been to? Give me three. They're like, if you love buying and selling cards and you do have the time and can travel, where do you have to go?
All right. Before I answer, are you able to clip this so I can post it later?
If you want, yeah, we can try to get you the video. I can't do it right now. But
So 3 card shows that I think everyone must attend in the country. I'm not counting the National because that's given. So I'm going to give you 3. And these are 3 that a lot of people don't necessarily always have on their radar, but I want people to start putting on the radar because they're really good events. First, Midwest Monster in Indianapolis, Indiana, ran by my man Jeff from J&J All-Star Sports Cards. When I lived in Louisville, he ran our local shows. Really good buddy of mine, and Midwest Monster is always a phenomenal time. Second, and I'm going there next weekend, and I'm skipping Nashville to go to it, the San Francisco Card Show in South San Francisco, California. Right by the airport. You don't really have to uber far to go there. Really good show. I went last year, and it was one of my favorites. The third, and this is the you're going to think I'm crazy for saying this, the Capital City Card Convention in Des Moines, Iowa. Okay? That show is phenomenal. Jamie Zabel, who runs that show, really good friend of mine, does such a good job. We've had people, and I've attended it now the last 2 times it's been thrown. We had people fly out from California last year for it, which was just to the middle of Iowa. And there's literally nothing to do in Des Moines, Iowa, unless there's a card show going on. That show is phenomenal.
When's the next one coming up?
The next one is October. I'd like to say the 6th. It's the 1st or 2nd week of October. The guy who said "You're Killing Me" Smalls from Sandlot will be there. They always have signers. They always have really good people. Trade night. It's a really good time, and it's trust me, if you want like a sneaky place to buy cards, if you can afford to travel to Des Moines, Iowa, it's a really good show.
That's awesome. Might have to check it out. I actually know of that show. Never been to the show, but I remember getting
Aaron, I'll call you sometime, not during this, and tell you about it.
Okay, I'll be ready, Adam, whenever that is. You got some people saying hi to you. We've got
I know. He's up in the hotel room. What's up, Owen?
A couple of your friends in the house.
Yeah.
And what's up, Big John? Big John always showing up here. Appreciate you being here. All right, awesome. Thank you for that. And then I'm gonna pull up the last card on the list here.
I do want to say to the people, if you have anyone who watches from California, San Francisco Card Show is next weekend in San Francisco at the South San Francisco Convention Center right by the airport. It's a really fun time, and Pablo Sandoval will be there.
Oh, that's a name that
Pablo Sandoval and Joe Staley.
Joe Staley, the offensive tackle.
He's a breaker now.
He is?
Yeah, he's a breaker for Mojo Breaks.
Really? I just remember him from like Madden Ultimate Team. He's a
breaker now. He loves cards. Huh.
That's so random, but
awesome. It's actually wild.
That's wild. All right, Adam. This was the last card on your list. This is the Joe Namath 2021 Optic.
So that's actually my bid.
Oh.
Yeah. If you look at what a PSA 10 of that card does, you'll understand why I'm getting a good deal.
So tell me about other than getting a good deal. Is there anything you particularly like about the card?
Well, I love downtowns. I ask this question to a lot of my friends who do cards. I'm like, yo, Donruss downtown or Optic downtown? And everyone always says Donruss. But because the Optic have the little, if you zoom in, they have the little laser action going on in the background. And apparently that takes away from like the sellability, but they're easier to grade. So it's like you have that going for you. I like the Optic downtowns better. I just think they look cooler. And the thing that I like, people always ask me downtowns or kabooms, and everyone always says kabooms. And I think that's because they sell more. Mm-hmm. And they have the golds and the greens, but Optic downtown also has the gold vinyl and the gold.
And Black Pandora now, I think, right, in football?
What did you say?
They have Black Pandora in football.
Black Pandora too. What I like about the downtowns is the kabooms. It's just say it's a picture of Justin Herbert and then it says kaboom in the background. Like, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Kabooms are cool. Donruss, if you really look at that, zoom in on that card. The amount of detail and art they put on that card, and it's different for every player.
Yeah.
And I didn't start to appreciate the downtowns until my cousin got me. Prism Draft Picks did a set. It was called On Field or On Campus.
Yeah, was it Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, it was Lamar Jackson, and he gifted me one. And I was looking at it, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then one day I was just really looking at it, and I was like, "Wait, this actually looks like the campus." There's this thing on the front of the card, which is the one place on campus where people take pictures, in front of this sign. And I was like, wow, they really went off on this insert. So then I started looking at the downtowns and look, you got the planes, you got I don't know what the gas mask is, but
fighter pilot helmet.
Yeah, fighter pilot. You got the skyline in the background. It's cool. They're cool for each ones. Have you seen the Aaron Rodgers one with the big milk pouring out of the glass?
I think so, but the one
that's cool.
The Giannis from Studio in 2016, 2017 or something like that was really cool. And there's a deer, a buck on there, and cheese and stuff like that. But I agree with you. I do like the downtowns too.
And we can all agree that football downtowns are better than basketball downtowns.
So that's what I was going to ask you though. You think that they're better than basketball?
I think they need to keep it consistent. I don't know why kabooms are in Crown Royale for basketball and why downtowns are in 1-1 for Panini 1.
And then you have absolute kabooms for football?
Yeah, I think they put them in 1-1 for basketball because the 1-1s don't really sell the product. That's what sells the product. But
why would Panini 1 football they could put them in, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They put them in Optic. I think it should be in Optic and Donruss basketball.
I think they would
Like
probably
Donruss basketball has nothing going for it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like ask anyone who works at a card shop, that stuff just sits there.
Yeah, because I mean, what are you looking for? Like they're like the Mojo parallels, right, or whatever.
No, like the Gridiron Kings, or what are they? Net Marvels, or whatever they're called.
Yeah. That was like, and then I think that insert's probably faded as years went on, and they're just kind of overplayed type of thing, which I think is kind of how Kaboom's, as you were saying, like it just says Kaboom, like it just gets overplayed after time.
That's what I like about. So to make a long story short, what I was getting at is I like that the downtowns are different for each player, and I'm a big. I mean, if you know me and you don't know by now, I love to travel. I love cities. I love like. Whenever I go to a city, I try to like wear a jersey. Or look at that cow right there. That's so cool. Look at that cow. Whenever I go to a city, I try to wear a jersey. Like I love representation of cities, and like I try to buy all the Philly Kabooms, or not Kabooms, downtowns for like players that I like.
Yeah, that's
awesome. That's why I really like what Topps did with the home field advantage. I want to eventually put together the set of the home field advantage. I think those are really cool.
Yeah, Topps made some good ones with the baseball there too. There is quite a bit of downtowns ending in tonight's auction. If you want to check them out, if you're a downtown collector.
So, Aaron, let me ask you a question. Let me flip the script on you.
Go.
What is your opinion on the NBA authentication thing they have going on there?
I mean, first of all, like that's how they sell their raw cards. Like, like if you're going to submit a raw card and you're going to sell it through PWCC, it has to be NBA authenticated. It kind of goes through the system where they look at the cards, they authenticate them. There is a condition report within all that different stuff for each card.
So they're not just authenticating the card there. So like, say I were to buy that Justin Fields Kaboom or downtown right there.
Yeah.
It comes, I've seen them at card shows in the little thingies.
Right.
Does it say on it, like, has scratch or dimple?
So there is a condition report filed with each card, I think, with
the QR code
on the back. So I think that is active, to my knowledge. But once they leave the PWCC Vault, they put a hole punch through like the top of the label to kind of call it like void, because like people could like take a label, whatever, take a label off, put one in, whatever. But yeah, so as it's in the PWCC Vault, they stay in those holders and it gets hole punch. But pretty sure those QR codes do go to like their website to.
Interesting. Do they punch through the QR code?
I do. That's a great question. It's possible, honestly. I don't know though. I don't.
What is that? Well, I mean, I guess I. Let's see. Let's try. Can I try scanning that QR code from my phone?
I mean, if you have your phone on you, I zoom in.
I do right here. Yeah, it won't pick it up.
Yeah, it's probably just too zoomed out, honestly.
Yeah.
Try it on your own though. After.
Yeah, no, I'll go on the auction and try it out myself because it's interesting.
There we go.
Nick Knack says they don't punch through the QR code.
Good vibes, Nick Knack. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. All right, Adam, last thing I really want to ask you here is, like, I've seen you, like you said, you love traveling, you love sports, it's obvious. You go to all these different ballparks and like sporting events. I've seen you at hockey games, I've seen you at the Super Bowl, I think, ripping a pack. When did you start that ripping a pack at a sport game?
Oh, this is something this is when I want clipped too.
Okay.
So what started was I went to back last April. I went to New York to visit a friend, and we went to a Yankees game. And I went to the team store and I bought a pack of like Series 1, whatever they had, because they sell packs at stadiums, at MLB stadiums. And by the way, whenever Fanatics acquires Panini, they should be getting Prism and Donruss and Optic and Select packs into NBA and NFL games, because it is a crime that you cannot buy a pack in an NBA or an NFL game. Just saying.
Yeah.
But what started it was I went to a Yankees game and I bought a pack of Series 1 and I was like, yo, let's just rip this pack. And I'm like, let's go live on Instagram and rip it. And he goes, no, why don't you make like a reel? And I was like, no, I don't really want to do that. Like, I'm not really a real person. And so we just like ripped it on Instagram Live. Fast forward 6 months, I'm at the World Series, the Phillies game, and I go to the team store, and they had Topps, and I bought it, and I brought it back to my seat, and I said to my brother, I'm like, hey, Andrew, will you film me ripping this pack for a video for Instagram? And he's like, sure, like whatever, because he knows that I do the content and all that. So he ripped the pack, and I remember I said, hey, what's up, guys? We're here at Game 3 of the World Series. We got a pack of Series 1. Let's see what we get. And I opened the pack, and, the Phillies lost to the Astros in the World Series last year. And I'm a big Phillies fan. So one of the cards in the pack was a Jose Altuve. So I just smushed it and I threw it on the ground. And I continued to rip the rest of the pack. And 3 days later, I went to Dallas and I posted the reel, and it did pretty well. And a lot of people told me that they liked it. And I went to Dallas 3 days later for the Dallas show. And what's up, Sports Card Professor? I went to Dallas for the show, and we went to a Mavericks game. And my friend was like, yo, I liked your video that where you ripped at the World Series. He's like, you should rip at the Mavericks game. I'm like, all right, cool. Sounds good. Let's do it. So I bought a pack and I ripped it at the Mavericks game. And then from Dallas, I went to San Francisco for the San Francisco show. And I went to a Warriors game, and my friend was like, yo, you going to rip at the Warriors game? I'm like, all right, yeah. So now I've just made it a point to any game I go to, I got to rip the pack. And it's gotten pretty bad to the point where like I only go to the games to rip the packs. But it's a really fun time. And I remember you sent me the list of questions. I have ripped packs at 17 professional sporting events, 1 collegiate event, and the 17 includes the NBA All-Star Game, the Super Bowl, and the World Series.
Wow.
Yeah. So
some big time places, some packs were ripped.
Cool. Yeah. And
you got out of those packs.
I've not gotten anything good ever. And I do it off camera. I did it on camera for one video, but I do it off camera. Every single card I rip is given to a child sitting near me at the game. So
I love it.
I find the smallest, not like the smallest kid, like I don't want like a baby. I find maybe like someone between the ages of like 6 and 9. And I'm like, hey, do you want some cards? And they're like, yeah. I have not shared this story publicly, but I want to share what happened when I went to Miami in January. I went to a Heat game, and I filmed a video with my buddy who was with me at the game. And after we cut the camera, and I always like turn around. I'm like, where's a kid? And there was a kid sitting literally in the seat behind me. He was like 6 or 7. And I turned around. I'm like, hey man, do you like basketball cards? He's like, yeah, but I don't have any. I'm like, oh, well, here you go. Like, here's your first cards. And I gave them to him, and he was like, oh, thank you, mister. And he said to me, he's like, you didn't give me any Heat cards. And I'm like, well, like when you open a pack, you're not really like guaranteed any like specific team or player. I'm like, but maybe like if you ask your dad, he'll get you some Heat cards or something. And he's like, yeah, well, I appreciate it. I'm like, yeah, thank you for being nice about it. So at halftime, I go walk around the stadium, and I go into the team store, and they sold a box with 30 Miami Heat cards. It was like $7. So I just bought them, and I gave them to the kid. I said to his dad, I'm like, hey, do you care if I like give your kid some cards, like more cards? He's like, yeah, that's fine. So I gave the kid the card. This kid cried. He was so happy. And his dad reached out to me on Instagram and said that his son starts to collect cards now because of that. So
that's awesome, man.
One of the cooler things I've ever done.
That's super awesome. I mean, taking something that you just enjoy doing and then sharing with other people. So
yeah.
I love that story. I appreciate you for sharing here. Indeed,
of course.
Very awesome. All right, Adam. Any last things you want to share before we say farewell to? Because that's a pretty great way to end it.
Yeah, I actually want to say that I watch this. I don't comment, but I watch this almost every week, and I was very happy to be invited on it. So thank you for that, Aaron. Nate, I saw you were in Milwaukee this weekend, and I'm sorry I didn't get to see you. I haven't seen you since Burbank.
It's true.
But thank you for letting me on. And if you guys want, you can follow me. My handle is the same as this thing right here on Instagram and Twitter. And I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Scott says, to be fair, I'd also cry if Bill Graffs gave me some cards.
It's funny. Scott, DM me. I'll send you a card.
All right, Adam, man. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, man. Have a good rest of your night.
You too, man.
See you guys.
See you, Adam.
Very cool stories from Adam.
All right, that was very cool. I was a little glitchy all the way through, and you guys seem like you're doing okay. So I figured I would just stay silent because it wouldn't necessarily miss words, but it would take like a second pause here or there. So
yeah, no, you're all good. Yeah, that was great. I really appreciate Adam for giving the time tonight. And we got 9 minutes now to look through what we got ending tonight in the auction. So I hope that everyone enjoyed having Adam involved, in tonight's stream. We'll be having another guest actually joining us in July. So look out for another guest coming up this month before the National. And if anyone is able to go to those card shows, that he recommended, if they're in your state, if you're out of state and you like traveling to card shows, maybe those are some ones to look at. Adam does take a lot of time to go to them, obviously. And I've seen him at many shows recently, and great guy. So, would really be cool to have you guys go see him or just go to the shows in general. So let's jump into the auction tonight. And I think that one of the biggest points of the auction tonight, I think a lot of people are going to know this too, is the Shohei Ohtani love. And there's no reason why he shouldn't be getting love, but this is like mega dollar love type of deal going on here. This is a 2018 Topps Chrome Gold Ohtani out of 50 PSA 10. And I'm trying to grab a last sold price here. We had a blue wave sell for, or not blue, excuse me, a gold wave PSA 10 sell for $4,725 on June 25th. But the last time that there was a true gold to sell, it did 7,500. And this is already over 10K after buyer's premium, but it did 7,500 just a month and a half ago. A month and a half ago, this exact card sold for $7,500, and we know it's selling for over $10,000 tonight based on this current bid.
He did hit another home run tonight. So
are you kidding me? It's that 31 before the end of, or it's not. Obviously, it's July now, but crazy.
I mean, kind of a bum. He only had one hit,
which was a home run. I mean,
one home run.
Impressive.
What a loser! Try getting 2 hits in the game, bro.
The reason why
he has 1,060 OPS. Try getting 1,070.
1,060 OPS. You said 1,060 OPS.
Week.
You maybe didn't hear me there. Okay, got you. Crazy thing about tonight's too, and this is probably going to end at this current bid, I'd assume, but for all those Bowman blaster boxes you opened back in 2018 searching for Ohtani rookies, and you didn't hit the autos, or you didn't hit the greens, but you end up hitting, I don't know, maybe a base card. This was a 330 right now, which is definitely over, what comps are. So maybe, we'll see what happens with that card, but, his cards just clearly are very, very hot. Gilded 99 PSA 10s at 340. His Heritage Refractor 569 PSA 10s at 1,500 before buyer's premium. I'm pretty sure I sold the Black Ops 69 for less than this, I'm sure, at the National in 2019. So his market is just absolutely crazy right now. As Bazooka Tom says, it's going nuts. And that is 100% facts. And just want to point that out because it just seemed to be, other than the Ellie De La Cruz love in this auction, because there is a ton of Ellie ending. It really seems to be the biggest theme of said auction, and just been dominating the attention for a lot of people, obviously recently. But the thing is that Adam brought up I'm not buying Ellie, and I agree. When they're hot, that's not really when to buy. People were probably saying that, myself included, of Ohtani 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 6 months ago. The question is where does it stop, the price hike? And it will probably eventually. I mean, generally players' cards just can't keep on going up forever. They see regressions. They start to, kind of bounce back at certain times if they're still hot when the market dies down. So we'll just have to see what happens. And there's 5 minutes left until extended bidding if you all are looking to bid in tonight's auction. Crazy booklet cards here. I mean, these are collegiate exquisite cards. I think that most of these are on card, but Bo Jackson's a sticker, which is actually Steve Young's a sticker too. All these might be stickers. It just might be hidden very well. I think they are stickers. Either way, crazy. What is this? This is 16 autographs on one booklet, but slabbed. I can't imagine how big that slab is. Probably could go and frame it on your wall if you really want to, or hang it on your wall. Looks like some wall art there. I know this is a one of one, but I guess that people, they say, oh wow, look at this, Nate. The subgrades are 6.5 centering and 4 surface. There's 2 things that aren't good about it. That centering top to bottom is so bad. Just brutal.
Oh.
Really hard to see. It's kind of hard to see with the
Isn't
black.
The rule you can't get more than half a grade higher than your lowest grade, but here we are with a 4 and a 5.
So basically, I think that's pretty consistent around the top of the grading scale, but I've seen different times when there's really, really low subgrades that doesn't always apply. There's also a varying amount of one-of-ones in this auction. Like we already talked about, that Topps Chrome debut Superfractor Auto one-of-one of LE BGS Authentic Altered. That's at $1,500. But there's this Desmond Ritter, this is the Phoenix NFL Shield Gold Vinyl. That's at $1,500. People are really hot on him going into the season. A lot of these quarterbacks that people go in on in like a high price standpoint are probably quarterbacks
altering that card.
Like, what do you say? What do you say, Nate? He might not have heard me. But either way, the point is that quarterbacks going in their second season, it seems like a lot of them always do very hot, like do big prices.
There's a significant delay, so I'll say something, and
there's a massive delay. There's like at least a 15-second delay between Nate and I right now. You got this Connor Bedard. This is the Upper Deck Team Canada patch auto of 125. This is the PSA 7, and it's a $1,250 for Bedard. $1,250 for Connor Bedard. He just was selected number 1 overall in the NHL draft just like 4 days ago or so to the Blackhawks, and his cards, they are crazy for the non-NHL jersey cards. Numbered out of 125 patch autos are selling anywhere between like $1,700 and $2,500 right now, as far back as April, and this one is at $1,250 for PSA 7, which is quite unreal. Jokic, as always now. Down the farm says Kobe Mayo is going nuts right now. Is he as good as they talking? If I don't know real music, if you're talking about Ritter, I don't know much about if he's gonna be good or not. Jokic's cards still hot after the finals. This is a PSA 7 National Treasures patch, number out of 10, which is at $12.25. And I didn't even realize that this timer is now down to 2 minutes because, yes, there is a little bit of interesting lag time still in that timer. Wemby or Bedard, biggest impact to each sport. I think that just everyone's going to feel Wemby because the national media coverage is going to be like massive on him as he starts debuting and playing his first games and such. But I think that Bedard is going to definitely do his part in the AHL to not only the hockey card market, but just like the AHL overall increase the visibility, especially with him being in Chicago. Pretty big sports market, of course. So that will be fun to watch and see how that shakes out. There are some cards, of course, anytime under $50. As always, some very cool ones. I'm kind of looking at right now as the timer is winding down. Number one's Aaron Paul, Allen, and Ginter card, which is pretty fun. Eddie Lacy, actually, I bought this card. There must have been 2 PSA 8s that someone was selling. I bought it for like $20 a couple weeks ago, I think. And then you've got some Churio raw sapphires, actually, which I kind of want to snag, which are at like 23 each, which seems pretty solid. So I'll throw in a few bids on those.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can now, yeah.
Okay. I just switched over to my my hotspot, and we'll see if that works.
Significantly better as of right now.
Okay. Yeah, it was all of a sudden I was like, oh, man, I wonder if he can hear me. And then you'd respond to me like way later, and then I try to respond to you, and I'm like, well, now he's not going to hear that until forever from now.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until you're like, I think there was a quite significant delay after like I think I said something like that, but that was like 2 minutes after I said it.
Yeah. All right, we're good now.
Looks like the window just closed, the one that was just closing. So if anyone won anything yet, please let us know, and we will give you a shout out, of course, in the episode right now. Nate, Kobe Mayo. People are saying it's killing it, and that the Orioles farm system is crazy. Is that true?
Fun fact: Kobe Mayo, you may remember, he is the guy I bought a PSA 8 base of back last fall, along with Jason Dominguez. Do you remember that?
The Jason Dominguez. I do. You bought the Jason
Orange
Dominguez
Shimmer?
Orange Shimmer. Yep. Do you still have the Kobe Mayo?
So I sold it all at the same time. So I bought a Kobe Mayo base auto PSA 8 because it was just super cheap. And yeah, he is currently supporting 1,037 OPS as a 21-year-old, and like every single guy they have that has been pretty good lately. It just seems like they're taking a step forward this year. The Orioles, with their Jordan Westbergs and their Kobe Mayos and their guys like that, they're going to be a problem for ever. And if they get guys like Dylan Beavers to start hitting, good night.
I don't even know who that guy is.
Dylan Beavers, he was like their second round pick from this past year. Maybe
Yeah, that's just me not knowing.
I can't remember.
Me just not knowing enough about the MLB draft. Right?
33rd pick. First round, 33rd pick.
Got you.
But he's not hitting very well right now.
So are the Orioles going to make the playoffs this year?
I expect them. I don't know if they're going to catch the Rays, though the Rays have been losing a few more games lately. But they will definitely – something major would have to happen for them to miss a wild card spot, I believe. Like they are second. They might even be second in the let's see what the Rangers have 49 wins. Okay, the Rangers have 50 wins. The Orioles are third in baseball with 49 wins. They just happen to be behind the Rays.
I mean, that's just a pretty impressive turnaround all in general for like their, for their franchise. And a lot of it can be attributed to their good drafting over the last.
Yeah, they got so the old. I mean, I feel like in my memory, the old Orioles weren't that bad at drafting. They still drafted guys like Manny Machado, right? That being said, they got a new GM from the Astros, and they started spending money. They started drafting really well and spent some money in the international market, which the old regime did not want to do at all. So
is that where they're getting a lot of? Are they getting quite a bit of players?
Well, they would just like trade every single year. They would just trade away all of their international bonus pool slots, like every single year, so that they couldn't sign anybody. It was wild.
I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly what you mean by that, but I do know that that's basically means that they're just neglecting the international market. It sounds.
Yeah, it's essentially imagine like you run a business and you have 4 revenue streams, and you just decide you're just going to completely neglect one of them, even though you have as good of a chance to use it as anybody else. It makes no sense.
Makes sense. Doesn't sound like a good idea.
No.
So someone asked about Austin Hayes. I remember that name.
Yeah. Austin Hayes got called up really, really young back in the a long time ago now. Let's see here. 2017 got called up as 21-year-old. Didn't play majors in 2018, and then it's been a slow grind up to quality baseball player. But this year, 846 OPS, 135 OPS plus after a couple of pretty average seasons, 104 and 107 OPS. So pretty cool rise to see there from a guy who is in his prime now and showing it.
Definitely. I know that shout out to Kayla Collect. She's a big Austin Hayes collector, has a pretty huge Austin Hayes collection. I'm pretty sure I've seen that on her story a few times. So good for her, for him to be doing well right now.
And this Austin Hayes, real quick, just as an aside, when a guy gets called up so young, they usually have talent, right? And along with Orlando Arcia, they're a good case of why you don't necessarily give up on a guy, because Austin Hayes, he looked like the last couple of years, he probably looked like just maybe a fringe starter, bench bat type of guy. And now you've got him putting up 2.1 win above replacement in half a season. If he's a 4 win above replacement player, that's awesome. And he's entering age 27, just like Orlando Arcia. So for people that are like, wow, my dude who's 21 came up and stunk instantaneously, it's just better that he gets called up at 21, that he showed enough in the minors to be called up at 21 than not, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And then I know Grayson Rodriguez was supposed to be like a super stud pitcher. Is that is he still ranked? Did he ever get called up, and is he doing well in the MLB? I know that Down the Farm just said about getting traded.
He did get called up. I am fairly positive, though I have not paid attention to how he has done. 45 innings of a 7.35 ERA. But yeah, he got called up, and I mean, I guess if the Orioles do the thing that other good teams do, and they're like, we've kind of cooled off on a guy, and some other team's a sucker enough to just look at the flashy name and trade a quality pitcher for him, you do that all day long.
There you go. I think that the Braves had just like unlimited amount of pitchers in their staff, and like I don't follow that one be close enough to know like which ones got called up or which ones got traded, but I think they could have kept them all, and maybe they did. Like remember, like what is that guy's name? Like Ian something.
Yeah, back in the
Ian
day
Anderson.
when they had like Ian Wright and
Kobe, it's Kyle Wright,
Ian Anderson and Kyle Wright. Thank you, Kyle Wright, Ian Anderson, Kobe Allard. There's a bunch of different ones. Some of them have moved around. Some of them have come back. I'm pretty sure they had Kobe Allard and then traded Kobe Allard away, and now Kobe Allard is back on the Braves. And guys like that. But yeah, they are. When you stock up on pitching, some will hit and some won't. But you'll eventually. Max Fried was another guy. But you should have eventually pieced together a pretty good rotation, unless you are the Royals, who spent $1 million draft picks on pitching, the Chris Bubicks and the Jackson Kowars of the world, and they have all pretty much been disappointments.
So when we talked about the Orioles being a great drafting team recently and such, you would say that the Royals have been the exact opposite of that?
Yeah, that would be sad. I would feel comfortable saying that, yeah.
Which is kind of sad.
I mean, outside of Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, but wasn't Bobby Witt already like he
was the number 2 pick touted, and realistically probably the top player in the draft.
Yeah. So, that's what I was kind of thinking. Julian says go Cubs. No, thank you. Do not go Cubs. I saw the Cubs are the only team in the NL Central with a positive run differential, but they're like 5 games back from the Brewers right now. Which is pretty sad.
Next, please. What's the worst is that I'm talking to a Cardinals fan today, and they're down and out about their team. And I'm a Brewers fan, currently tied in first place with the Reds, and I am also down and out about my team. That's how bad the NL Central is. They should just disband the NL Central and give the playoff spot to a team, whichever team makes a third wild card.
So what about the AL Central? I was looking way worse than the NL Central.
Okay, yeah, it is way worse. I mean, the Twins are on top at 42 and 43, and the Guardians are also on top at 41 and 42, though they've obviously played 2 less games. It's bad.
Yeah, that's just crazy. All right, I just threw in quite a bit of bids on things as we were talking MLB there. One of those I hope falls and we can pick for a giveaway. I wouldn't mind winning a couple of the others. If you were an Aaron Rodgers fan or a New York Jets fan, want to get a PSA 10 Contenders Aaron Rodgers auto ending tonight, there is 27 seconds left on extended bidding. Or for the same price, actually less, you could buy a George Washington auto, which I feel like we've seen a few of these things circle through here now. George Washington, I guess, cut autograph from a document or something like that. Rodgers or George Washington, let us know in the comments which autograph would you rather have, or Steph Curry, honestly, up there in the same price range. Once again, I mean, there's a lot of big stuff in this auction. I'm trying to figure out if it's the function of just Steph's obviously big name NBA player and cards are constantly selling him, or if there's like someone with a serious, Steph Curry collection that is parting ways with it. Also, for the soccer fans out there, how can I forget to bring this one up? There's a 2017 Revolution Galactic, super rare. I mean, those Galactics from early Revolution sets, if it's a basketball or soccer, they're very rare. And that one's at 4,200 for a BGS 9.5. And one of the cards that Adam pointed out before the episode started, or before the extended bidding started, was this Justin Fields Eminence numbered off 3 Nike patch auto, which did sell for $3,840. I know we were talking to Justin Fields and such like that with Adam. Nate, you were kind of like in and out at the time. He thinks that Justin Fields is going to be the hottest player at the National. Do you agree with that?
I mean, we're in Chicago. Football is always hot at the National, and Bears fans are delusional as can be because they are craving a good QB so bad because they've literally never had it. When Jay Cutler's your best QB in franchise history, you've got a problem, right? Major.
That's just such a tough scene.
It is
never a 4,000-yard passer, which I still think is just like
that might go down as the craziest statistic in the history of the world.
history of the world is quite the statement.
The
but
history of the entire world is that the Bears, who have been around for 100+ years, are the only team to not have a 4,000-yard passer when the Magic Man had a 4,000-yard passing season back in like 1990 for the Packers, or 88 or something like that.
that just sounds so ridiculous all the way around. Like there's really no way to sugarcoat that, but it is actually a crazy statistic. Does Justin Fields break that though? I don't think he does. He's coming off a 2,600-yard season. I mean, maybe his career, I don't know, maybe one point if he
17 game season helps.
See, down on the farm, I understand that you're saying Love is not much better, but I also think that Jordan Love's cards are unbelievably expensive for not much reason right now, other than that he's the next starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, after Rodgers and Favre. So I'm not going to disagree with you on this statement. I'd say the same thing to people buying Jordan Love cards for thousands of dollars right now. Like I'm at the point where I'm like, I hope he has a bad first 6 games. Well, actually, not as a Packer fan. I hope he does really well. But from a card buying standpoint, if he has a bad first 6 games, buy some if they drop a ton, and then boom, hopefully he has a great rest of the season and buy at the low.
Here's a fun one for you. Card market, as hot as it is today, but 1989. What do you think 25-year-old Don Majkowski sells for? 4,000, leads the NFL in completions and attempts, leads the NFL in yards with 4,318, 27 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. Obviously, a different game back then. People were just chucking the football around. Second in MVP as a 25-year-old Pro Bowler, AP number 2, AP Offensive Player of the Year number 3.
How did
imagine what a 25-year-old 10-6. After going 3-6 the year before. It's his first year as a full-time starter.
There's no doubt that that's like Joe Burrow, not Joe Burrow Super Bowl levels, but like a Herbert, like it could be that expensive,
Yeah, you want to know how many yards he threw after that point? In
how many?
A full season?
How many?
1,925 in a full season after that point. Like that was his total. That was his highest after. And obviously he dealt with a ton of injuries. Don't get me wrong, but it's like you can kind of see the risk by just looking at the Magic Man and see how good he was for one season and then be like, ooh, people are spending a lot of money on QBs and anything can happen.
That is definitely true, that anything can happen. And in most cases, stuff does happen to players. Trey Lance, I know that, a lot of people are buying his cards for very expensive values in the last, not the last year now, but leading up to last season. And we kind of see what happened there, and everything. All right. Well, I threw in a few bids. I'm trying to get a giveaway card here, kind of getting outbid and kind of upset about it. But Steph Curry, Grand Reserve, thought it was just a really nice, like clean looking card. Honestly, looks a bit like a blank slate, but doesn't carry the the price of the blank slate. I'm sure it's not as rare as a blank slate. But it is looking like a blank slate and something that for a giveaway, I think would be an awesome card for someone to add to their collection. So let's see if we can snag that one here. Did win a Jackson Churio Raw Sapphire. So I think I picked up one this weekend in a big deal. I did big lot. So got one for $33, which felt like a good deal on a Churio Sapphire, first Bowman, which is nice. And lost an Aaron Paul, 2015 Topps Allen and Ginder. Kind of bummed about that. Forgot it was ending. I don't buy leaf cards very often, not barely ever. Actually, might have been the first card I actually physically bought that sleeve ever. It's a Quinn Ewers auto number out of 99. They do not have Bowman Chrome University autos of Quinn Ewers, so I thought if there's any chance that Texas football is back and Quinn Ewers is leading them this year, maybe that card sells for more than $14. We'll see though.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking like we're into the next window. I was bidding on the Steven Gerrard. I don't know if there's any big soccer fans in the house. I'm sure there's a few. Man, I really want that Steven Gerrard auto because it is exceptionally rare on card. I know it's Futera, but that's how a lot of those on card autos came back in the day, like pre 2014 Panini and everything like that. And I kind of want it, but it's one of those cards where you don't know how far it will go in extended bidding. I love buying cards that literally have like no sales history, and that's pretty much where we're at with that card. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get back in the mix for it. Still, like I said, need to get a giveaway. And also was looking at this fun little Willie Adamas. I know he's not having a great season right now, but isn't Orjot 25 PSA 10 with the Topps Rookie Cup and a raw kind of sold for that, I think, before the season started. So,
hey, Aaron, let me ask you a series of questions here.
yeah, lay it on.
Which team has the second worst batting average for a team in the MLB?
The Brewers, man.
Which team has the fifth worst on-base percentage in the MLB?
The Brewers, too.
Which team has the fourth worst slugging percentage in the MLB?
Yeah, it sounds like the Brewers to me.
Which team has the fourth worst OPS in the MLB?
Brewers.
Yeah.
And what team is
ahead of them are like the A's and the Tigers.
That's embarrassing, man. And Yelich is doing well.
Yeah.
Man, that home run he hit yesterday, I was fired up about it, or whatever that was. Crollo.
Crollo, get him.
Crollo, I did buy, I don't even remember this guy's name, something Gilbert auto this weekend. Astros.
Drew Gilbert.
What's his name?
Drew Gilbert.
Drew Gilbert. I knew it started with a D. I just couldn't remember if it was Dylan or something like that. Bought Drew Gilbert auto this weekend.
That he did.
Although, yeah, I do like the college football prospecting. It's extremely, extremely cheap. I do not like Leaf cards. Me buying that does not mean that you should go and look at. I mean, okay, I gotta say, Nate was talking about Leaf cards the other day, maybe on our Slapstocks live stream. I don't remember. Maybe he's telling me, but like, you're like, oh, when those actors, they don't have autographs in their sets, but you can get an autograph, which is fair. Like, there's a Leaf Caleb from Stranger Things, he's got an autograph in the Leaf set, but he doesn't have autographs in the actual Stranger Things top set. And when Caleb, I mean Lucas. Caleb's is actually. But I only bought that because he didn't have an actual auto Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, and you want to sell it before he gets other autos.
Oh, 100%. There's no chance that card is being owned before he gets other autos. And I think he's going to be around a first-round pick. This upcoming draft, it obviously depends on how he does this season, which is how a lot of cards work now and how they should work, honestly. So we'll see how that goes. But that's definitely how cards used to work and how they should work. It shouldn't just be based off of hype alone, that's for sure. And Nate, talk about Junior Caminero. I did get a cool green grass of him the other day.
You did?
Yeah. I think I told you about that. Not the auto, remember? Is the
non-auto. Oh, that's right, the non-auto. Yeah. So again, it always cracks me up the fact that they grabbed Junior Caminero for what was his name? Tyson something. Just some low-level 40-man arm that needed to be protected on the 40-man that the Rays didn't want to, so they trade him for Junior Caminero, who now is hitting a casual 832 OPS as a 19-year-old in AA. You know who's not hitting with an 832 OPS in AA as a 19-year-old?
Whoever the good guy was.
Jackson Chourio.
Oh, that's a low blow.
Yeah. So
hey, I thought
if you want to be like, who should I invest in? You can look at prices, or you can look at Churio's prices, and then you get pretty. Not saying that Churio maybe doesn't have more upside, obviously, but as it stands right now, one is significantly cheaper than the other, and one is actually playing well. And
Nate, you said
pretty sure
interesting.
One in Montgomery and one is in Biloxi that they play in the same AA league.
Oh, they play in the same league?
Yeah.
You just got a little glitchy for me there, but you did say something earlier at the show that I heard. You're talking about like the baseballs in AA and how they're making a change as soon as June right now. Can you try to explain that? Hopefully the lag doesn't hit.
July, and Jimbo was telling me this. I hadn't seen anything. That they use a pre-tacked baseball in AA, and apparently it was the pre-tacked baseball causing pitchers, to be just excellent, and some AA hitters are falling behind. So, if they go back to the regular baseball, which stops giving the pitchers a slight advantage, it could help out. I haven't looked anything up on my own. That was from Jimbo, but I do plan on checking out more of that when I get a chance. And it was supposed to happen in July, he said. Can you hear me? Aaron, are
Yeah,
you
I
muted?
realized I'm muted this entire time. My bad.
I was like, man, I went to go look up pre-tack baseball so I wouldn't forget, and I can't even hear you.
Yeah, I know. Don the Farm said that true is because they're working on his plate discipline, and TB Incognito said that he won a 2019 Topps Alien Ginter Egg CSG 10, the egg card.
Here we go.
And
I can confirm. After the Futures game, they're switching back to regular baseballs. Thank you, Don on the Farm. So yeah, so that makes obviously if they're working on Churio for plate discipline and they don't care about his counting stats, that's one thing. And maybe the baseball doesn't change anything for him then, if they're purposely making him work on other things than pure bat to ball skills. So we'll see. But I am still excited for other guys. Like if Caminero is doing this in Double-A, what could he do in Double-A with a pre-tack baseball, with a non-pre-tack baseball? Or Drew Gilbert, our boy Drew Gilbert that we just bought, he's not doing great in Double-A. Will he bounce back? Maybe.
Possibly. Speaking about not doing great, I cannot believe, and this is the whole risk of prospecting thing, like all over again. But Austin Martin, I don't know, what was he like? One of the highest drafted players in the 2021 MLB draft. He's
number
one of the most hyped players.
Pick.
Yeah, number one pick. Ended up getting traded to the Twins. I haven't heard about him since Nate after he got traded to the Twins. And here we are, 434 red auto PSA 10. Some prospects, Anthony Volpe. I know he made it to the MLB starting for the Yankees at whenever he plays, and his card sold for like $100,000 for this card. But that just shows the risk of buying these guys.
In my experience, and I could be wrong, but in my experience, if a team is willing to trade a guy so quickly after drafting that high, there's going to be major red flags that they don't like and they don't want to have to deal with, and they'd rather get out and get something for him. Right. And so I'm not necessarily surprised by how his Twins career has transpired.
So I like that you brought that up because Julian and I were just talking about Cam Reddish, who signed with the Lakers on a veteran minimum deal, I think, for one season. And it's like, oh, it's a great signing, to pick up Cam Reddish, like kind of nice skill set, maybe, nice physical traits.
Fifth.
It's like,
thank you.
What do you say?
He was fifth.
Who?
Not first.
Okay.
Austin Martin.
I see, not first. Either way, but about Cam Reddish, same thing applies. It's like once you get traded like twice to 3 times and cut and then signed, like there's probably a reason why like NBA teams are passing on you after you like have been in the NBA for a while. So while like maybe it works out this time, at the same time, it's like maybe it's just not going to work for him, and that's why he's not getting signed by teams for more than a veteran minimum deal, I suppose.
And if I were him, if I were Cam Reddish, I would simply sign somewhere where they can actually afford to give you minutes without worrying about what it does to your team. Right? Go sign with a bad team. Now, a lot of the bad teams in the NBA have their own young guys that they're trying to develop. Like the Pistons aren't good, but they're trying to develop Cade Cunningham, right? And the Jazz aren't very good, but they've got a little Lauri Markkanen and John Collins thing going on there that they're probably wanting to invest in. And like the Rockets aren't good, but they've got Jalen Green and those other guys. They want to invest there instead of in Cam Reddish. So I don't know what team would be out there where you could be like, yeah, go sign Cam Reddish and just give him a bunch of playing time and let him get his lumps and see what he can do. But that would be better, I think, for me than signing with the Lakers, where you're not going to get much of a chance to show what you can do.
I agree. Carlos said, and that is certainly a senior intern take from Slapstocks Julian. Nate, I do agree. When you're a young guy like that and you kind of need to prove it to get that next contract, it's hard to do that in a team when you're shoved down the depth chart, when they're signing guys like Gabe Vincent and re-signing Rui Hachimura, who they're clearly going to play ahead of him. It's just a difficult way to build on your career, I guess. Wesley, what are we supposed to be picking? Maybe I missed it. But also, Wesley, I know you said earlier that you have that there's a sleeper card to this auction. If the sleeper card you acquired said sleeper card, please let us know so we can share that out. If not, then keep it under wraps for now. Or if you lost, then I hope it you're doing well and you can share it because I'm really curious still. All right, so there's 2 Gio Reyna rookies right here, and these are quite significantly lower than what they were a few years ago, but this is a very interesting one here because I think a lot of times in baseball you think about, orange Bowman Chrome is a pretty softer card. Like in other sports, like, sometimes you want the gold even if it's lower numbered, or higher numbered, I should say, versus like the green out of 5.
Like gold over green.
Yeah, like some instances like that. Exactly. In this case, this is more maybe because of a color match thing. This gold out of 50 PSA 9 is like, a couple $100 more right now than the orange out of 25. And the gold's extended and the orange isn't. Now, I am interested in this card, but like now that Berhalter is the manager for the U.S. men's national team, basically confirmed for the 2026 World Cup and Copa America 2024, I just like my interest level so much lower because if he doesn't play enough, he got 20 minutes of the World Cup, but he's one of the most talented players on the roster. That's just garbage. Like it's just going to be hard to actually see a viable way for his cards to increase in value, even if they are down a lot. There's a very fun soccer card in here for any soccer collectors out there. I don't know where here it is. This is a Heung-min Son 2017 Topps Premier. So this is not like your 2017 Topps Chrome Champions League. This is like a very I think this was an English, a UK release specifically. Copyright's actually 2016 on 2 on the back. It's a 1 of 1. It's stamped 001 out of 001. And it's got the cracked ice behind it. Honestly, for a Heung-min Son collector or Tottenham fan or a Korea fan, seems to be an awesome card you could add to your collection. And I won't be on it, but it's a really cool card. I just want to point out. I've never seen this insert from 2016 Panini Studio rock solid die cuts. Very expensive. It might be like a case hit type of thing, like a downtown. Just people don't really collect them. I've never actually seen that. I mean, you can get Jimmy Butler raw one for $4.35. $4.35 that is. $4.35, not $4.35.
Pretty good.
Buying Holland would have been a good idea when he was on Dortmund or Salzburg. That worked out quite well for people. Aaron, what can you tell me about Marquinhos and Julian Alvarez? Do you pull said players' cards off Topps Chrome and UEFA recently because both of them are in that set, or do you rip Prism Premier League? Alvarez is a stud, won the World Cup with Argentina, won the treble with Man City, had some big moments with each team, and currently playing behind Holland, but also starting with him in some instances. Great player. Nothing much more to say than that at the moment. And Marquinhos for Arsenal, young Brazilian. I don't know a whole lot about him. I know that Slabstocks, Slabstocks FC host Andrew has talked about him in previous episodes and spreadsheets and such like that, and he's talked to me about him. But I don't think there's too much reason to be massively excited. I don't think he really works into Arsenal's plans, from at least my knowledge, at least. I'm sure maybe it's a young kid they'll stash and loan out, is what it might seem like. Wesley says the 1954 Kitty Fussball Puskas rookie PSA 4 was a sleeper. It sold for $930. Did you get it? I see Select. Select is where the Marquinhos card is from. Oh, and I gotta point out, I believe I got the giveaway. I forgot to announce that because I think we were talking about something else, but I did get the Curry, the one that looked like the blank slate that isn't the blank slate. I think it's from Panini Dominion it was. I will go show that. But the highest value card, sports card, remaining in this auction is, in fact, the Mike Trout that Adam pointed out before. So this was not 52.50. I'm trying to check and see if a PSA 10 of this card has sold. There actually was a PSA 10 sale back in 2020. All right, Nate, you know how hot cards were November of 2020.
What was it? Was it this one? Did it have an old label?
This it doesn't.
When did PSA change their label?
So wait, this is crazy. Are you ready for this?
Same card.
The one that sold previously was the same exact cert number except 623. This is 622. These were graded consecutively.
Somebody got 2 and sent them in back to in one submission.
Yep. Back-to-back PSA 10s on this card. So it is more than a pop one, as Am pointed out earlier. He thought it wasn't, but it is more than a pop one. It sold for $4,000 back in 2020. It's well over that now, which is pretty impressive to be fair.
Considering Mike Trout stinks now, 858 OPS. What a coward.
I mean, honestly, you might as well trade him to the Brewers for like Jefferson Cuero at this point.
You might as well. And also pay down his salary because the Brewers can't afford him.
I was gonna say do that at the same time.
Get Jefferson and Edgar on the same team. Co-catchers.
Is his brother playing?
Not brothers, I don't think.
Oh,
but I don't think they're brothers, but they have the same last name.
Got you. TCG said, "Is that licensed?" It is not licensed. It's like a airbrushed USA jersey. It looks like. And then, because Prism Panini had the rights to the USA logos at that time. Pat B said, "What are y'all doing with the Gavin Williams auto that you guys got? Guy looks phenomenal. We did get a raw Bowman Chrome Refractor auto at $4.99 here like a month or so ago. Actually got it graded. Got graded by SGC. Got 9. What do you say?"
So I'm glad we bought that. I'm glad we saw that.
Is he doing well right now?
Gavin Williams, yeah, stud.
Absolute stud, Nate says. But plan is to bring it to the National and probably sell it there. Got grade SGC 9510. We are, and I'm not going to miss it this time. I'm going to go to all the cards and see how many cards are left in the auction the last time. Actually, at this point, I might have lost my Stevie G, which is kind of sad. Yeah, I think I lost it. Dang, congrats to whoever got the Steven Gerrard for 420. Man, that card is so sick. From Futera, that's a great card. And honestly, I think a great price. It's on card from a decade ago, and I couldn't find a single sale. And I've seen the ones from other Futeras like more recent. What do you say? You're glitching up on me.
What is the company?
All right, I'll explain. It's a soccer card company, obviously. They did have licensing back in the day, and they had a lot of on-card autographs. And I think that they still have licensing today on certain cards. Now, I don't know how necessarily, because I think that some of them are supposed to be like exclusive licenses in some scenarios, but they do make cards and they get them signed and they put like game-worn patches in them and stuff like that, or match-worn patches. And it's an interesting set. I don't collect them very often. But like in that scenario, when there's really no Steven Gerrard on-card autos from that era, from like a Panini or Topps, I would have been happy to acquire it. And is this actually true? Like, is there actually only like 6 cards left in this auction?
No way.
How does this happen? It's only 10-4.
How much did that Austin Martin sell for? What did that Austin Martin sell for?
Probably went for like $500-$600.
Oh, that's still so much money.
Nate, we really got to pick a card here to get in on our last picking competition. I'm just gonna snag this LeBron and MJ dual patch. So there's really not that much left.
All right, I'm gonna choose that Pokemon card.
All right,
you mean Yu-Gi-Oh?
The Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh, this one down here.
No.
Well, there is now, I think, 7 cards left. I'm not sure if Nate took the Pokemon or the Yu-Gi-Oh. Maybe I can hear him utter something out.
Pokemon.
Okay.
Pokemon.
Got it. Takes the Pokemon down there. I've got that LeBron and MJ. Let me get that giveaway running right now. So there you go. I just dropped the line there. Put a 1 in the chat to get the giveaway going. Just comment number 1 and you'll get entered and win the Steph Curry. Asian Punk says he got a Black Label BGS in his stash. And the answer, he says a Dragon Ball Z card earlier. That's very cool. Congrats on that and getting I think it's your first Black Label in Dragon Ball Z. So I know that a lot of people like that show. So hopefully you enjoy that. And that Heung-min Son is still going at 13:25. I'll give you all until like 10:07 Central Time. Please get your number 1s in. So throw them in there fast. If you're watching and hear me, throw those 1s in there fast.
What are we giving away?
Steph Curry. I'll show it here for a second, but don't want to miss the cards ending. It's looking like a blank slate, but it's from 2016 Grand Reserve Panini set. They don't make it anymore, but it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool card, and it's a budget card that looks like a higher end Panini insert. That's for sure.
Put it in a box and see what happens 30 years down the line.
You never know. It's a very cool card. All right. Well, looks like we're both extended right now. That Curry might sell. Noah Schultz and Cade Horton are the next pitchers to start stashing. Also, Misirowski, the Brewers guy. I'm excited that there's a good Brewers pitcher time up.
Noah Schultz didn't he was that the White Sox pitching prospect? Didn't he come out and was he in was he in draft?
Not exactly sure. But I
can't
will
remember
be
now.
entering.
I feel like in my head he's a White Sox prospect, but I could be high as a kite.
Tom says, tap that like button, peeps. Tap that like button, peeps. Please do so if you can. Thank you to Tom for supporting there. It looks like it, Hector. All right, I'm getting the giveaways together here, and let's see how the cards are shaping up. Looks like that we're both extended still.
What's funny is he's not entirely wrong. I am as far away from a sleeping baby as I can get. So that's what's going on here. So I am in the basement because I don't want to wake up a sleeping baby.
You want me to yell "Let's go" after I finally guess the random.org thing right?
I don't think she'd hear you, but I'll turn down my volume on my computer just in case.
Honestly, I would take you turn down that volume if it meant that I was winning that. Never done so. Let's see here. What are we looking at? Nate's might end here. Oh.
Probably will. I mean, just chose it because it was Pokemon and it was cheap. But it's not even that cheap. It's $165.
It's not. And it's done.
Gonzo Alonzo.
All right, I'm going to flip over here and get this giveaway rolling. There's still 4 cards left. One of them being mine, not Nate's. And let's see what happens here. All right, everyone. Good luck. Thank you so much for being here tonight, for joining, for watching, for interacting, and for joining the giveaway for the Steph Curry. You got 3 times the randomization, as always. 1, 2. I'm going with TB Incognito. I got to get this right one time. Just one time.
All right. I am going. I feel like it's down on the farm's day. Down on the farm.
Let's see.
But if it's not down on the farm, I'm thinking David McIsaac. Oh, it's Rowett.
And it being Rowett. Congrats to Rowett for winning.
It was not down on the farm's day.
Congrats to Rowett for winning the Steph Curry. You can email us at info@slabstocks.com. Info@slabstocks.com. Please shoot you an email our way with your character key, of course. And we will get that transferred over to you. So it looks like Aaron might come in clutch here at this last moment, although Hoyman's son might end up winning. We have 2 soccer cards against the Reflections, MJ and LeBron dual patch. At 37 seconds left. Ooh.
Did yours end?
Of course, Scott. Of course. I gotta see if I get this dub. What's going to happen when the Braves?
Where's yours at?
What?
Where's yours at?
Mine's in the middle. It's a dual patch.
I thought you took Steph Curry.
No, I didn't. I said the dual patch of LeBron and Jordan.
Oh. Why do I feel like this entire time you took Steph Curry? Are you sure?
I'm 100% certain. Someone vouch for me in the comments who could hear me. I just got a bid like at the very end of that window, which
man, I don't know.
I for sure did. Let's see. Oh, this is gonna be a battle, I think.
We're gonna need to go to the replay.
See if anyone vouches for me who's still in here as we watch to see if I can get a W here. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate that.
Tom says he doesn't know.
Oh, Pat, we will definitely be producing plenty of content from the National.
I think you took Steph Curry. I'm pretty sure you said you
No,
took
there's
Steph
no
Curry.
chance. There's no chance I
Curry's
took
still
Steph
alive.
Curry.
I'm like convinced you said that.
No, there's no way.
Do the finger box thing, Nate? What is that?
Oh,
L7
were you-
weenie?
Maybe.
Yes. L7 weenie.
Peg Junk repping me hard here. And Monkeys confirms I did not say the Curry. Nate's down bad.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see. Let's just get both these to sell, and then I picked the
Curry
patch card.
giveaway. That's
Real music. You keep on bringing up Jamal Murray, which I'm happy to talk about that subject, but I'm just confused on which Jamal Murray card you're talking about because I saw some Jamal Murray's tonight, but I'm just not sure exactly which one. And hopefully these both end here, and I can go with my W. Please and thank you. And we all go home. 3, 2, 1. That's a W. That's a W. W like Wisconsin. Badgers, baby. Nate just has nothing to say. That's right. That's right. He didn't think I picked that card, but I did. And boom.
It's
The
true.
winner. I see the
True. I'm
object
not
blue
100%
real music.
not sure you picked it.
Well, I did indeed. And down the form says Nate, new Brewers kid to watch out for. Christian Vasquez, outfielder, 17 years old, 6'4", 3 home runs, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. Looks like he's doing well. Wow, that's jersey number. Than that.
This young international kid. Brewers International pipeline looking pretty strong nowadays.
I like it. I like it. I'm pretty sure Gerard was number 8. Gerard was number 8, not number 10. They froze in disbelief. Yeah, we'll end it here, Hector. So, all right, I appreciate you all for coming. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Have a great rest of your week. We'll catch up with you in the next Slab Stocks live stream, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Monday nights. And we will talk to you all next time. Enjoy the 4th of July as well. See you, everyone.